Mama, Orihe, onye eze n'ugwu gị, obi dị m ụtọ ịnọ ebe a nke mgbe ụfọ ya emekwa otu n'ihi otu ahụ ya si dị ya si ndị anọ mmemme pụrụ iche. Ama m na ọkammụta na-aba n'ebe niile dị iche iche a ga-enwe mgbanwe ọ ga-awụ mgbe ọ bụla a kpọrọ arụ, ọ bụghị na a na-arụ ka a ga-ebuli obi. Ọtụtụ okwu adịghị m n'ọnụ ugbu a, okwu ole na ole anyị etinye n'ime ya.
Citation of the guest speaker. The natural into an agency now crude losses recorded. He won a Commonwealth scholarship and proceeded to England. The postgraduate course. The African Development Bank is was among this kingdom Asumbuar Aruchukwu. Invite Dr.
Chairman of the National Relations Delegation, Professor Jane and another scholar, a very also on the high table. Professor Robin Emensu, who is representing eminent our sons and daughters, so let me mention that I particularly pay respect view of the subject matter we're discussing today. The Emeritus Professor of History and one of our surviving founding fathers. All the members of our club that are here, our prominent sons and daughters, I would like to thank you all for the very elaborate discussion, very elaborate introduction that has been made. My brother Odoche for the able way he articulated, ascribed. The lecture is everything but an attempt to trace the genealogy of Aaron True and the process of his ascendancy. A journey with me to islands where the house and the message was the same. The EZE ARO coronation to speak on any topic of your choice. We are calling to seek your confirmation and acceptance of this. Mr. Chairman, Your Royal Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, I have chosen to speak on an area associated with digital age, which have changed or is far changing the way we think, the way we live, the way we walk, the way we speak, the way we do business, and most especially the way we communicate and relate with people around us. ICT have changed all of that. These changes can override the change. My dear brother, communication technology, which neither Arochukwu nor any other establishment resist, avoid or isolate itself from. Even in the midst of our people's strong reverence to the throne and our tradition, some important questions have arisen. Is the EZE ARO throne ready and aligned with the challenges of the digital age as we speak today? If yes, how? If no, how do we reposition the EZE ARO throne and the palace to preserve our tradition and remain relevant in today's digital age? Do we have the requisite skills in our kingdom, knowledge, resources required to do all this? What are the risks involved? What are the opportunities? Are they any? How do we minimize these risks and maximize case studies that we can draw lessons from? What are the divergent views in search of convergence between agitation for reforms and advocacy for things to remain the same in status quo the way they are? What are possible next steps that will guide any of such steps, such efforts? The answers to these questions will underline the importance of this lecture and its focus on the EZE ARO tradition, digital age, and the challenges of convergence. Mr. Chairman, Your Royal Highnesses, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, contemporary body of knowledge and its dynamics of change, changes of society, fails to innovate, would either lose relevance, diminish, or perish. And these institutions include but not limited to political institutions, relevant of historical origin or regression, a debate between ancient or modern, stagnation or movement, the debate those in the public and private sectors, the youth, students, children, women, Christians and traditionalists, we face as a community and traditional kingdom under threat of modernization. Now, let's look at category purposes of this lecture. Have identified 10 categories of traditionalists of how these various kingdoms have adapted to modernity, civilization, and digital age without losing their relevance across generations. The state, the government, are not only custodians of the culture, customs, and traditions. State in their custody. This category assumes both traditional and political authority in one institution and reigns and rules and governance. You find this common in most parts of the Arab world, particularly in the Middle East, such as Kuwait, a rich region in the Gulf of the Middle East. Kuwait is a monarchy, and an emirate founded in 1752. The Emir of Kuwait, just like similarity between the kingdom of Kuwait and the kingdom of Monarchy is that both kingdoms are hereditary. Continuous adherence to institutional and cultural reforms. Kuwait in the world. Kuwait is today the richest the dinner is among top 3 strong of the global GDP. 10% of the world's total oil reserve. I work in that sector. I've been to Kuwait several times. How things happen there, I hope it will happen here. Oil contributes to nearly 50% of the country's GDP and 90% of their total export. Special emphasis by that kingdom is on citizens' welfare. Studies in Arab history have identified continuous reforms with special attention on citizens' welfare as the basis for sustaining power in Kuwait, basis for sustaining authority and the throne within the Gulf region. However, even at that, irrespective of sufficient affluent economic growth and citizens' comfort in that kingdom, increasing public agitation for reforms that allow openness, popular participation, which focuses on deeper interrogation of the status quo still persists. For instance, on May 15 this year, the Kuwait news agency quoted the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Shah, as announcing to the world that we are in a new phase of reforms and serious actions must be taken right now. All the ministers must accelerate the implementation of long-awaited strategic projects, address village fires and work on infrastructure projects, develop healthcare, education, and so on, and take into account the need for transparency to preserve public funds. However, scholars of Arab history have continued to argue that the people are rather interested, the people's interest in this reform that target the traditional institution that grants supreme authority to the area of wealth and the ruling class is the major problem. The people want to get involved, not just comfort. The people want to be recognized. The underlying factor for the agitation is the search for openness, inclusivity, and popular participation. Although it is easier to argue that the type of traditional institution in Kuwait is more common in Nigeria, though similar and not exactly the same with the Arab traditional institutions. The point I'm making here is that reforms are necessary to sustain authority, citizen support, and participation in any leadership arrangement with ascendancy to the highest authority in the land are made exclusive for the privileged few and not open to all. The second category is the institution and the system that appears to be bigger and above the state. When I mean the state here, I mean government. In this category are traditional authorities that rely solely on supreme religious authority as legitimate sources of political institutions. This is the case in the traditional institutional system that exists in Japan, another very robust economy. Thailand, among others, largely in Asia. These categories of traditional institutions symbolize the secular state. Here, symbolizes where traditional rulers are only in government when they are not in power. Although they have access to government, they exercise very little or no political control. They represent symbols of national unity and catalyst institutional leadership are common. This type of traditional leadership are common in a situation where they represent the symbols of national unity and catalyst for taking engagements. You find them in Northern Europe, Scandinavian countries, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. Is that their leadership is people-oriented, progressive, and heavily welfare sensitive in a way that reforms are systematically part of the leadership process. We are coming nearer home now. England, the British monarchy. The third category I'm referring to here is the British traditional institution, the English traditional institution that combines the features of the area models and crime. In the British system, the traditional institution is the head of government, is the head of the Church of England, and also is the custodian and culture of the British people. The British tradition is reputed as being one of the oldest and most enduring, influential, dignified, and organized in modern day history. As institutionalized historical agent and host, the British monarchy is able to remain relevant, retain power, enduring as a result of its dynamism in adjusting constantly to unfolding changes in contemporary society through quiet and systematic reforms. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, contemporary body of knowledge in literature of British history, recording various forms of historical events that triggered reforms in aspects. These reforms were in response to their alignment with changes in society, responsive to demands and aspirations of British people. Both reforms carried out by Queen Victoria, who ascended the throne in as the Queen of England in 1837 is relevant to our discussion. At the time of her reign, one major and the job crisis brought about by industrial revolution. Besides, the traditional leadership was perceived as being too involved, far away from the people, and in no position to understand citizens' frustration. The traditional leadership under Queen Victoria knew exactly what was going on, initiated major reforms that addressed this and repositioned the monarchy and reconnected the traditional institution to the people. She instituted a culture of neutrality in politics by distancing the monarchy from active partisan politics and limiting the monarchy to ceremonial duties. In this way, they can ascend the throne. The new legislation driven by reforms of the institution also removed the disqualification of the person who married the Roman Catholic Church in the institution, as an institution to meet the dynamics of society. His father quickly moved and married Queen Camilla. Prince Harry's current strained relationship with his royal family and also the vacuum of that remain there and few. Can't we take over? In Zambia, is an example of rapid growth with more on oral tradition and hearsay than documented history. The popular life in society. For instance, the history of the United Kingdom reflects this. The United Kingdom has witnessed a surge of global interest in the result of threats of one form of challenge of instability or the other to contend with. Was quite shocking to me. This group was put on the need to protect the Sultan of Sokoto through his spokesman Abubakar Bawa. The governor said Shetima should have contacted him that time-honored traditional authority, ETC, and the chairman of council, and possibly arraigned Noborucho, the Shewa for 48 years. Siguru came with expansion of constitutional order, resulting in cost of military arraignment and the need for the inclusion of everyone. In every settlements across Eastern Nigeria, the increasing agitations by those who claim to be natives and those described as settlers have resulted of the 20 asserted that authoritarian regimes survive where political pluralism, restricted civic space, censorship, poor challenges of which even threaten their legitimacy and foundation of existence. Reforms that seek to interrogate the status quo in this case means the way to question the way things are. Most reforms are difficult choices, but they are driven by change. This includes economic, social, political, cultural, and dynamics of society. You hear all kinds of agitation, people are planning, workers. All that is required is some kind of reform to provide a response needed. In the making of the recent EZE ARO Corona, this recent current one, His Eminence, the current making of EZE ARO, I listened carefully. It's quite interesting to find there were three major different opinions that have shaped the public debate. Each of these groups that have different views, stating arguments in various forms and dimensions. And when I speak, you will definitely find which group that you belong to. Followed, according to how it was in the 18th century, even when we are in the 21st century. They also as shown in the base of source knowledge from oral accounts. The group sense of archival information seems to be quite vast. Prejudice, discretion, and myths. They narrate the story to suit the argument. The arrow in this analyze prejudices. They may recognize the knowledge of how and why our traditional institutions call the clash of civilizations, and the making of a new world order. Reading their book quote, by Hutton. These are years after the Cold War, witnessed the beginning of dramatic changes, transition from old order to reforms, opening the gate to new ways of thinking, new ideas and new ways. Can no longer resist positive reforms that are not only required, necessary, important and important, but make sense. Students and our school professionals abroad. They are leaders in their own rights. Those in this group. These are should be more than tradition. They are applied linguistic that should be attached to their own throne. In terms of content and application, in the making of this reserve of the royal family members. The markets of EZE ARO should be and continue to be an exclusive prerogative of the ARO royals from the royal family. They find strongly that the era of laying claim to that throne. This group therefore advised the royals who would want to aspire to the EZE ARO too, that the time has come for such aspiration to be considered as a big project, and therefore requires early preparation in life to actualize such a. They were vocal in their advocacy that the throne now and in the future needs a leader who is ready and appropriately groomed to lead quality education, built on strong character, ethical and sound judgment. It also needs the argument here is that in an ARO royal is one major condition, no doubt. They should not be all about it. The group gave instances where high-ranking traditional rulers in Nigeria who command enormous respect and influence in society and in society can trace their background to quality preparation. They invited AROs to understand that Sultan of Sokoto was a Nigerian military, where he rose to become a brigadier general equivalent to general in the army. The Oba of Benin was in the Oba. Similarly, the Obi of Onisha was in the oil and gas industry, where he rose to become the director in share. The Pompon Jos was a career custom officer, rose through the ranks to become Controller General of Customs. The Oba of Lagos served in the Nigerian police and retired as Commissioner of Police. The Emir of Kano, the 14th Emir of Kano, Lamido Sanusi, was a renowned banker and economist who served the banking and finance industry in very high positions, rising to the highest position of governor of the central bank. To mention but a few. AROs in this group argue that the making of EZE ARO should please follow this pattern. The main argument of this group is that traditional institutions currently have become beyond culture and tradition. These institutions in Nigeria and elsewhere have become elements of community access to government, community access to power, community access to economic opportunities, investment, tourism, policy making, and high-flying personalities open doors. There is a video that is circulating now, and of course, we know that the Asaba and Pasaba have died. It's intimidating. And yet, there are many other professors that are vying. Is that the kind of people that will assemble? The role of government, the making of president, this same group further argue that the making of president in the 21st century cannot and will never settle for less. They further argue that the new information and technological innovation that currently shape the direction of human, social, and economic development and make the reforming of the Aro traditional institution inevitable. The role of government at all levels is another area that this group examines. The role of government in making of traditional rulers, including the EZE ARO, is both constitutional, legal, valid, legitimate, and overarching. They also